Hello everyone, welcome to Ashish Biology. In this video, we'll discuss about vulva formation in Caenorhabditis elegans, that is C. elegans. And this is the first part from the topic. This topic is from the unit Developmental Biology. I am Ashish Kumar Das, a student of MSc Animal Biology, University of Hyderabad. This video will be beneficial for BSc and MSc student, CSIR NET, DBT JRF, ICMR JRF, ICAR NET and GET Lab Science student. And this video is made in such a way that students from background other than zoology can easily understand the video. So now let's get started. So first of all, what we will learn today, we will see some basic information about C. elegans, then we will see what is vulval precursor cell, we will see what is vulva and the position and function of vulva, then we will also see how vulva is formed and what is the signaling process involved in the formation of vulva and many more. So first of all, introduction. So C. elegans is a multicellular nematode and it is commonly called as roundworm. There are two sexes in the organism, that is hermaphrodite and male. So hermaphrodite are basically female that have ability to produce some sperm. Obviously they will have less ability to form sperm than the male individual, and as they have ability to form sperm and egg both, that is the hermaphrodite individuals, so they have ability for self fertilization as well as cross fertilization. That is self fertilization when they fertilize the egg with their own sperm, and cross fertilization when they fertilize with sperm from other individual. So here you can see the diagram, that is the hermaphrodite and the male individual. So in the hermaphrodite individual you can see the spermatheca, the egg, the vulva about which we will discuss in detail, then you can see the sperm and the oocyte. So in the male individual you can see the gonad arm, the seminal vesicle that will secrete the seminal plasma, the vas deferens and the spicules, rays and fan. So here you can see complete sexual dimorphism is evident, as the morphological difference between the hermaphrodite and the male individual can be marked here. So most of them are hermaphrodite, that is in a population the number of hermaphrodite is more than the number of male, that is most of them are hermaphrodite, and they are having both male and female sex organ in their body, and the life cycle is temperature regulated. That's why for the complete development the number of days or duration they take for the complete development is different at different temperature. So they take 2 to 3 days at 16 degrees centigrade, 3 to 4 days at 20 degrees centigrade and 5 to 6 days at 25 degrees centigrade. So here as usual we see when the temperature increases, the number of days for completion of development decreases, that is increased temperature accelerate the development. However here reverse case you can see, that is at increasing temperature the worm is taking more time for the development, and this is usually a model organism due to its simple body organization and limited number of cell in the body. Now what is its role in genetic engineering? So RNA interference can be used for C. elegans gene manipulation. As you know, in RNA interference a RNA blocks the DNA's expression, that is the transcription and also the translation of mRNA. So RNA interference can be used for the manipulation of gene in C. elegans, and C. elegans can be genetically transformed by E. coli. That is when the E. coli is having the gene of interest, the C. elegans will be allowed to eat the E. coli, that is the C. elegans will feed on the E. coli, and this will allow the gene, that is the genetic transformation, that is the genome of the C. elegans or genome of the worm will be changed. Now vulva, the main topic that we have to discuss. So first of all, part of the female sex organ where sperm enter and the fertilized egg leaves the gonad. So vulva is the part of female sex organ, and what is the function? The sperm enter the body through the vulva, and the fertilized egg leave the gonads through the vulva, and it is composed of 22 cells. As I have already told, the number of cells is limited in the whole body, so vulva is having only 22 cells. So the tracing the development is easier job here as compared to the other organisms. Then vulva development involves network of intercellular signaling. So intercellular means in between two cells. So here the signaling process can be autocrine, can be paracrine, that is between two cells, etc. So intercellular signaling is in between two cells, and intracellular signaling is in the same cell. Then the signal transduction, that is when the ligand receptor binding will be there, then the receptor cell, that is the cell with the receptor, will transduce the signal for the next level of the expression or gene expression. That can be transcription factor, or that can activate any enzymes, etc. Then the transcriptional regulation. So as you know, regulation means the ability to control which gene is to be expressed by how much degree, or the which protein is to be produced by how much amount. So transcriptional regulation is also involved in the vulva development, and it is present mid-ventrally and necessary for egg laying. So mid-ventral, when you are learning developmental biology, you must be acquainted with terms dorsal, ventral, that is also anterior, posterior. So they will be used a number of times here. So ventral position means when an organism is laying on the ground, the surface of the body that is attached to the ground or that is lying adjacent to the ground will be the ventral position, and the above portion that is exposed to the above, that is the surface that we will see, that is the dorsal side. So in human being also, the chest, the bellies constitute the ventral side of the body, and the back portion is the dorsal side of the body. So it is present mid ventrally, that is the median position in the ventral side of the body, and this is necessary for egg laying. So here you can see the worms, that is the C. elegans. Here you can see the gonads that are marked in black. Then you can see the anchor cells, that is red in color, and there are 6 VPCs, that is the vulval precursor cell. So what are VPC? They are the initiator of the vulval development. So as it is vulval precursor cell, when they will get specific signal, or they will be induced by specific signal, they are having receptor for the development into the vulva. So the vulval precursor cell are the initiator of the vulva development, and will be next vulva, or will produce vulva upon induction. That is, induction means by being activated to form some specific cell by some signal, that is the induction. Then here you can see this is the enlarged image. The gonads are there, the anchor cell is shown in red here, and the vulval precursor cell, there are 6 vulval precursor cell, and all of them are present mid ventrally. Okay, so this is the ventral surface of the body. Let the organism we consider be exposed to, lying on the ground. So this is the ventral portion of the body, and this upper part is the dorsal portion of the body. So this is the dorsal portion, and this is the ventral portion. So here what happens, you can see there are 6 VPC, that is vulval precursor cell, and they are named as P3P, P4P, P5P, P6P, P7P, and P8P. Okay, these vulval precursor cell have ability to form the vulva. Now what are the steps in vulva development? So there are 3 steps. So generation of the vulval precursor cell, that is VPC. So 6 VPC are specified from the 11 hypodermal cell, or the dermal cell that is lying in the ventral position. So hypodermal cell means the epidermis of the dermal position. Hypodermal means below the dermis. So they are specified among the 11 cells which are located in the ventral epidermis, or this is also called as hypodermis. Then vulval precursor patterning, that is a signal from the gonad and the signaling from the anchor cell. We have already discussed what is gonad, that will produce the gametes, and below the gonads there are anchor cell. Here you can see there are gonads and anchor cell. So the anchor cell and the gonads will send the signal, and the vulval precursor cell, that is VPCs, will receive the signal to become vulval cell. So vulval lineage are of 2 types, that is 1 degree and 2 degree. And uninduced VPCs, that is uninduced VPC means they are not receiving any signal from the, or they are receiving very pure negligible concentration of signal, you can say, from the anchor cell and the gonads. So they will form the 3 degree lineage, that is the tertiary lineage, and will form the epidermal cell, or the epidermal cell of the ventral surface. Okay, so what happens if they are receiving signal, that is from the anchor cell and gonad cell, they will be 1 degree and 2 degree, that is primary and secondary vulval lineage. And if they are not receiving any signal, or very negligible or nil signal, they will be tertiary lineage, and they will form the epidermal cell. So generation of adult cell, that is the adult vulva, comprises 22 cell. So this is the last step. So I will again post another video on the next part of this topic. Thank you.